Okay. You ready to sing? You're a singer, right? We've got magic to do just for you. We've got miracle place to play.
So gay.
Hi everybody, my name is Justin Gerhardt, the host of the GayMenChannel. This week on Gay for Justin, we are back with Greg Louganis, whom I featured last week on my This Just In interview series. Check it out if you haven't watched it yet. Greg Louganis is a 4-time Olympic Gold Medalist. He first won a silver medal in 1976, then he won 2 golds in 1984, and again repeated that in 1988, winning 2 more gold medals. He is still considered the greatest diver in the world. I wanted to sit down with Greg to talk about what it was like to be gay in the 70s and 80s as an athlete, and then later on in the 90s coming out as HIV positive as well, and how that's changed for the athletes in today's world who are coming out as openly gay. So let's get right to it. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great. Good. Run back a little bit. Okay. When did you know you were gay, and what did that even mean to you?
When I was young, I would say, around 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Somehow I knew I was different. Mm-hmm. But there were so many things I could point to at that time. I was adopted. Okay. I was really dark, as a child, and
so those are the
predominantly, Caucasian area. Yeah. And so, but I felt even more different than that. Yeah. So I didn't put sexuality to it really until puberty. Yeah. Really.
Did anybody ask you, Greg, are you gay?
No. Oh my God.
I just feel like it wasn't talked about.
No, you don't. No, you don't ask somebody if they're gay.
Did you have anybody to talk to about it?
Once I went away to college, University of Miami, I was in a theater department.
Gotcha.
So then it was like, oh my God, there's other gay people.
Yes.
And
I'm not weird.
Yeah. So it was great, and that's where I really kind of came out to myself.
Okay.
And then when I was 23, I was involved in a rather volatile relationship. Mm-hmm. It was one of those relationships, those young relationships, where it's fireworks, or else we're throwing dishes at each other. Yeah. And then I called my mom and I said, look, I've got to get out of here. Yeah. We got the van all loaded up, and I turned to my mom and I said, Mom, Kevin and I were more than just roommates, we were lovers. And she said, oh, I know, son, what's for dinner?
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, I thought if my parents knew that I was gay, then Earth was going to open up.
Yeah, well, most people think that.
And so...
You're not the only one.
And it was like, what's for dinner? I mean, I was almost disappointed.
Back to you being in the Olympics at 16, what did everyone in the diving world and the sporting world think about being gay at that point?
In 1976, I was still in high school, and at that Olympic Games, the Soviet Union was there, and they were closer to my age. I was only 16. The rest of my teammates were college graduates, and they were much older. Yeah. I hung out with the Soviets because they were close to my age, and we were having a lot of balloon fights.
Right.
We were running around the village and all that. But I was called a commie fag by my teammates.
What are you thinking inside yourself?
I don't know that they meant it homophobically.
Gotcha.
It was just like the worst thing you could call somebody.
Right.
I remember. They would have a team meeting without me, trying to figure out who's going to room with fag. Nobody wanted to room with fag. I was usually rooming with a coach, or they got me my own room. Or
were the coaches okay?
Yeah, the coaches were fine.
Okay.
There was usually one person on the team that was secure enough in their own sexuality. Yeah. It was like, no problem.
Whatever.
Yeah, there were, 2 that stand out, Kevin Montgomery and Ken Ferguson. At a certain point, I was out to my parents and close friends. Pretty much everybody in the diving world knew. Yeah. It was just my policy not to discuss sexual identity in the press.
In the press.
They were actually respectful. It was a really different time.
Yeah.
The personal stuff, I didn't feel it was really anybody's business.
What would you tell somebody who's still in the closet now as an athlete?
That's a loaded question, because you know what? When I was on book tour in '95 with Breaking the Surface, I had athletes coming up to me and saying, I don't know what to do, I want to come out, but oh my God. And my thought at the time was, unless you're a Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan,
You probably shouldn't.
Probably shouldn't, because you need your team.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if they would be supportive, because I know the reactions that I was getting. Matthew Mitchell, I mean, I have so much respect for him, because he came out during his career about his sexual identity, and he won an Olympic Gold Medal.
Yeah.
The thing that I was disappointed with was the NBC coverage skirting around it. Oh, his special friend.
They don't know how to talk about it.
They don't know how to. Yeah, they don't know how to talk about it. But I think they're learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we all are learning. I mean, look at Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. It seems simple, but I'm gonna ask this.
Okay.
What's it like to live with HIV?
I take my meds in the morning. I take my meds in the evening, and go about the business of living. Now, I have my setup of pills. AZT we had to take every 4 hours around the clock. 2 pills every 4 hours. Interestingly enough, they now have a geno and phenotype test. So they'll take your blood and they'll find out what medications you're resistant to.
Right. So on a day-to-day basis, besides taking those drugs in the morning and night, you're not thinking, oh, I have HIV.
No.
You don't feel it.
No. And you know what's funny is I'm married to my husband, Johnny Shio, and everybody assumes that he's positive.
I think that's a big assumption.
And he's negative.
Yeah. The fact that you survived and thrived and won Olympic medals, you lived through it.
Yeah. I mean, you'd see somebody at a party one weekend, and then find out they're gone.
Yeah.
Next weekend you're going to their memorial.
Yeah. We live in such an interesting time where there are so many people who are living openly gay, and it's weird to even say that. That's just a part of who I am.
Yeah.
And then there are places in the country where you would still be killed if somebody had their way.
Right.
And then you have a younger generation of people that are fighting against the labels because they're like, I don't even care. Like, don't even try to put me in a label because I don't need one.
Right.
Even though we're going there, I still see all the time, like, these guys fighting against their sexuality, or they don't even want to go explore it. And I mean, for me, the focus is guys feeling comfortable to just even talk about thinking that another dude is hot. When I was in grade 7, I remember I said, some actor was really good looking, and then my friend was like, you're not allowed to say that. I remember thinking, I know that he's hot though. It was nothing to do with being gay, it was nothing to do with like wanting to be with him. It was just like I knew he was attractive. Like,
and also, I mean, it doesn't mean that we're sexualizing them.
No!
You know, it's just like you appreciate beauty and aesthetics, and I mean, whether it's male or female.
Exactly. I still do. It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter.
Kate Winslet is one of the most beautiful women in the world. I will always think that. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and come back next week because we have a lot more questions to ask Greg about what it was like when he hit his head on the diving board in 1988 and then still went on to win 2 gold medals that year. It's an incredibly inspiring story, and you're going to want to hear all about it. All right, see you next week. Have a good weekend. Y'all stay fabulous now. Here's my Barbara question. Since you've actually sat down with Barbara Walters, how was that?
Oh, she's amazing. It was a really tough time in my life at that moment in time, and she was so supportive.
How do you want to be remembered?
If people remember me as a diver, I want to be remembered as being strong and graceful.